Howdy, everybody. I'm here with Jenni, who got 48th out of 48 at the Lansing Regional, right on the buzzer. Jenni, what did you play?
I played Mitsurugi Ryzeal.
All right, let's see the list.
Make it quick because it's pretty standard. You got your 3 tachyons, your bonfire, cross, your star Ryzeal.
And then your government-mandated 2-ofs.
Yes. So very standard on the Ryzeal part. 3 tachyon is definitely needed. I tried different ways to do consistency, replace it with pot of P, but honestly, when you're going for like, let's say, Gnome's Line, for example, or you really need TOZK, then having pot of Prosperity really hurts. It's actually lost me games in practice, so I ended up leaning away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the Mitsurugi engine, obviously you have your 3 prayers, the 1 ritual, the
One of each guy.
one of each of the little guys, 3 Abakuri, 1 Murakumo. Again, I tested with multiple of the Murakumos, but just 1 is truly needed. You can always get it back later.
Mm-hmm.
During one of my matches, I actually didn't draw any of the Ryzeal stuff, only the Mitsurugi cards against Malice. It ended up working out, so these cards are definitely really good. Let's see. Then for the non-engine, you have the God cards, basically, right? Your cross out, your tactics are called by.
Mm-hmm.
Only drew tactics once in a situation where it didn't really matter, so I can't really say much about tactics today, or the other day. But the cross out called by wins you games by itself. Not every deck will draw 2+ non-engine cards against you. And even then, you only really need it for the important ones, which makes you... I'll show you what I can do in the extra deck when that happens. It just wins you games by themselves. Then triple Imperm, double Nib, 3 Droll, 3 Ash, and 5 Ultramis, 3 Fua, 2 Prulia.
Mm-hmm.
Fua was awesome. Prulia was surprisingly mid.
Fair enough.
Nibiru overperformed against players who don't play around it. It just wins you games again on their own. Droll necessary for my deck, essentially, right? Ash is pretty much exclusively for the Multermes, and then it's got its uses, right? Imperm, I was thinking about cutting this for a Bell or another hand trap, but Imperm turned out to be pretty decent, in practice at least. It works against the Chaos Angels. It's very much close to your only out versus Chaos Angel and a few untargetable things. Not untargetable, but towers monsters, essentially. And other random situations. 1 mid game against Malice. Just generally pretty useful. But could be, I think that's the one on engine you could be kind of swapping around.
Yeah, I always think Imperm's a little mid right now.
Let's see. We'll go straight to the extra deck. 1 Masquerade for the attack count. I didn't run the other one to search the Lancia.
Thank you. Appreciate your service.
I feel like there's other ways you can win that matchup, because if you're going full combo anyways, you just win. But again, if you have Tachyon for the Lancia, it's really good. But I want to try other things out with my extra deck space. 1 Detonator, 2 Duo, 1 Eclipse, 1 Aggregator. These are kind of like the mandatory cards for just finishing your combos, and you have some tech cards, right? The Tornado Dragon, Exicon, Dugaris, Emerald, and Ouroboros. Didn't make Exciton, always really good though. Came up 1 mid game. I made pretty much every card in my extra deck except for these 2. This one I will keep in because it just wins you games. Emerald, I could see you cutting it. I can see where people play it though too, but if they hand trap you, you end on a smaller board with like Detonator and something else. I typically don't go with the Emerald. Whereas if they don't hand trap you, or if you play through it with like call by or cross out, then you go for Ouroboros Loop. This card is technically win more, right? But in situations where they don't hand trap you, they're either all engine or typically might be breakers. In which case the Ouroboros single-handedly wins you those games in case they can break your board.
Yeah.
And they just don't have enough cards to out you, especially when you're going game 2 or game 3 when you have spoilers like counter traps or like draw some of that just instant game-winning Solemns, for example, right?
Yeah.
They just can't play through your engine because you literally have a card for every card in their hand. Dugaris, I was kind of considering cutting it initially, but it just single-handedly won me games. When you get gnomes, when you get hand traps, when you need to OTK instantaneously, this won me my round 9 match by itself. It really punishes misplays on the opponent's end, where you just get an instant win button, essentially, or going first, you need to get an extra card in hand. Get some of these side deck cards as well. Now for the stuff that supports the Mitsurugi cards, you got your King of the Feral Imp, your Dragluxion, and Harbinger. When you start with the Mitsurugi cards to try and go into the Ryzeal stuff, you go into Dragluxion, search Tachyon, but if you don't give them a good spot to imperm, so if they imperm this, you need a way to get your Mitsurugi cards back into the graveyard, so that's why you run Hope, plus it's a decent inboard piece. Made a couple times, stopped the Lightning Storm, pretty good. Dynamondo.
It's Dynamondo.
It's Dynamondo. Now for the side deck, your typical triple Lancia, triple Chaos Hunter. These would I'd probably run some amount of Chaos Hunter in addition to Meows if I had them, just because there was a lot of Meows at the regional. It was my most, the matchup I faced the most. But thankfully, it's also the matchup I won the most. I didn't lose at all to Malice, so I'm pretty thankful about that. The third nib, you don't always put the third nib in, but against Malice and other decks, you just need to hand trap. You do. Third Perulia. The Double Bestials, I would say that these cards are replaceable, but they did win me games as well. Face against Blue Eyes, right, and some rogue matchups. And they do have their applications against Mitsurugi. Then for easy siding to get the Jenni Weekley, you have your 5 no cards, 4 Solemns, and a Purification. I'd say these could all be like a thrust package. Doesn't really make a difference, it's purely preference. They're all just go first, I win buns. Don't really need to say too much other than that.
All right. Do you have any shout outs?
Yes. Shout out Nick Simon, shout out Matt, shout out Sam. They're all really helpful in giving me advice on this deck and for lending me cards. Perulias, the dual drives, like I said, pretty much a lot of this deck was rented from them. So I appreciate it. Shout out to the rest of Team Evo and everyone who was there at the event today.
All right. Thank you very much.